Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone's had a relaxing weekend. Tis the 23rd of September, and we are October's fast approaching. I still can't believe how quick this year's gone. It's absolutely flown. Ionis, how you doing? So let's have a look. So we've had quite a bit of volume overnight, actually. Gone up, come down, gone up. We have got some news coming up, although it's not showing on here for some reason. I don't know why, but we have got two lots of news, both at the same time. I think it's CPI and PPI, something like that. Anyway, I'm more concerned about what time it is rather than what it is really. We do seem to have a bit of a spike in channel. We've sort of come from here. We've bouncing, working along that line. So I can't trade for another 8 seconds. So there's nothing I want to take here, really. It would have to be a second entry. My only issue is we're at the top there, and we're struggling to get up there, so we may get a couple of legs. So market is open. So I'm going to get a buy order here in case. Why won't that work?
Order cancelled.
Do that to me now. 105. That should work.
Order submitted.
Why? Why is that not working? Come off it.
Order cancelled.
So, 100 there. 100 there. Two contracts. Why, for some reason, something's not working here. Let me just check it on here.
Order submitted.
Which one? 99. For some reason. 99
Order cancelled.
What's that? Oh, it's the newer account, isn't it? Have I done something with that? Let's just try it again. Something's not
Order
working.
submitted.
No.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
98's not. Oh, come off it. What's going on here?
Order cancelled.
Yes. So lead account is 100. That's fine. This is something to do with. No, it's nothing to do with. What's it? So the lead account is 100 there. The lead account is 100 there. Lead account is 100. And the other ones, why is that not working?
Order submitted.
Can't be submitted, order rejected, affected, order by 2. Hold on, let me just.
Order cancelled.
Let me just see if there's anything to do with.
Order submitted.
Can't buy one. Oh, come off it.
Order cancelled.
Something's stopping me from working here. I don't know why. Replicanto, no link found. Okay, let me just try. Let me just try it as it is.
Order submitted.
That's okay.
Order cancelled.
Something not working with Replicanto. Let me have a look. Lowbots, Replicanto. Okay. Count is 100. Let's select them. Let's try it now.
Order submitted.
Still not working. Hold on a minute. You don't allow trades without ATM. I've got a bloody ATM.
Order cancelled.
Okay. Help me out here, folks. I've got my Replicanto set that I can't take a trade without ATM. I've got an ATM set. Have I done something wrong here? There's an ATM set, automated strategy, yeah? So let's try it again.
Order
Buy.
submitted.
Come off it. Hold on, and I'm getting multiple things coming up here.
Order cancelled. Order
Buy.
submitted.
Okay. What am I missing? A Replicanto. Follow account 99. It's error. Okay. GAT, the order was rejected because you don't allow trades without ATM. I've got an ATM.
Order cancelled.
Don't allow trades without an ATM. There's my ATM. Activate copy ATM. Let me just have a look. Let's get that in a minute. Copy ATM. Where am I looking for copy ATM? On the followers. Hold on a minute. ATM copy. It's alright, I can't see it at the moment. Hold on a minute. This, is that what you mean? Ah, okay. Just have a look. Okay, ATM copy. Okay, I've never had that before. Is that because I can't open something without a... Let me have a look. Let's see if that works.
Order submitted.
Thank God for that. Thanks for that. Who was that? AG15. Thank you, my friend. Is it because I've put...
Order cancelled.
In Guardian Angel Trader that I can't open a trade without an ATM strategy. So I thought that was just to have an ATM strategy. You know, sometimes you click buy. If you've got no ATM strategy, it opens an order, but it doesn't give you a stop or that. NW. Not sure what you mean there, bud. Everything is definitely working, isn't it?
Order submitted.
It's working okay. Yeah, it is. Okay, so far so good. No, oh, okay, brilliant.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's strange that when I was going through Guardian Angel Trader over the weekend, I wanted to make sure I've got maximum one loss, and because I had one new account, I just wanted to make sure everything was working. And when I was going through the settings, it says you can select don't open an order without an ATM strategy. Now, if I take this away and change this to custom, if I don't have anything in there or have none, it won't open a trade. That's what I thought it was, unless I've actually got something. At the moment, I have got
Order submitted.
an ATM strategy, but
Order
I'm assuming
cancelled.
it's something to do with that copy thing, isn't it? I didn't think I was going to be able to trade for the day there, which would be a bit of a ball ache. Well, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. I'm still relatively new to this Guardian Angel Trader. But we got there in the end, so let's just make sure everything's open like it
Order
should.
submitted.
I've got my 3 orders there, and I've got the order on my second chart up there.
Order
Okay, brilliant.
cancelled.
Right, thank God for that. So, I hope everyone's had a good weekend. A bit stressful for me. Not quite sure why. I just felt a bit out of sorts over the weekend. Take that 2 legs back, triple test for a quick scalp. You have. We got a leg down. There may be one here pushing up. Bounce, bounce. So you went short, did you? I'll take it. So, bounce, bounce, bounce. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Because, if you'd have taken that one, kind of a leg, it worked. I wonder if we're going to get a triple test here then up. Out to the tick. Good on you, mate. 1, 2, 3. Possible second entry long. It's hard to say at the moment, really. Just check we've not got any type of channel down there. There's always a possibility of a channel down there, but we have had kind of like a spike in a channel. So there may possibly be 1, 2, 3, a triple test long there. Trouble is, you've got to be a little careful here because it could trigger you, come down and stop you out. This thing may be having a leg and a leg. So this kind of, well, I don't know. I'm on the fence whether this was, excuse me. I know Thomas Wade's got it as a channel, but it's not the nicest looking channel, the nicest fitting channel, is it? I mean, you could say we got a touch there, maybe here. But ordinarily, the highs of the day are up here, or the overnight highs are up here, so you'd think there'd be a good chance of pushing up. So maybe there's a higher low there. I wouldn't have taken that one, to be fair. It's not bullish enough. It's kind of, well, it's semi-bullish, but not enough. On my other chart, it doesn't look any better either. Let me just reload the one above my head. See if that helps. Bloody identical. Trouble is, we've got a leg down there. 1, 2 attempts to push higher. This could come down. It's a bit hard to say at the moment. It is a leg with 2 attempts. It took that long. Yeah, to be honest with you, it is kind of a triple test, but my concern is here we've had 2 legs back and we've had a good push for the highs and we haven't got up there, and that concerns me. And there is a possible second entry short. It's hard. Prices, that EMA is holding price at the moment, so I'm just a bit uncertain as to what's going on. And as I've only got 1 loss nowadays, before I either go onto a sim or trade me my funded futures account, I've got to be careful what I do. So it kind of forces me to take a better trade or to look out for a better trade. News in 4 minutes. Good point. Oh, it's popped up all of a sudden. That's a shame about the news, because if we get a higher low here, that wouldn't be a terrible trade, I don't think. Mind you, the issue I have here is we've got a channel down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, so it could push lower. But, as you say, we have the news, so let's just keep this in mind. Yeah, 3 minutes to the news, so it's just not worth getting into a trade here. We could go a bit sideways, it could trigger it, and do that for a minute. But yeah, it is a triple test. If that would have been sitting on top of there and fully bullish, I may have had a go at it. But it's a little bit, this is, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this channel, to be honest with you. Even if it is a channel, we had a couple of legs back. We had a good strong push up, but it turned, so we couldn't get up. We couldn't get any higher, so so we could also do a little bit of sideways. Now, there is a possibility that there may be a, what's this thing moving there? There may be something larger there. It's a bit early, but it kind of fits. But I wouldn't rely on it just yet. Okay, the news is in 2.5 minutes, or 1.5 minutes, let's say hello. So, K3, how you doing? Do you know how to move the news indicator? I couldn't work it out. This thing here. Yeah. Well, I could do it with the other one. This is still relatively new for me. So if you select it there, there's usually something that says offset or something like that. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Notify 15 minutes before the news. That's interesting. Display news for X minutes after. Opacity. Displacement. There we go. That's it. So we're at 0 now. Let's do 50 and see what happens there. Is that moving anywhere? Has it moved it anywhere? Maybe down a bit. Let's try again. So I've got it at 50. Sure, it's displacement. Justify right. Hold on a minute. Let's justify it left. See if that helps. Okay, it's done something with it. Let's get rid of that displacement or take it down lower again. So let's take it down at 20. It has moved it a bit. You might have to play around with that, buddy. Let me have a look again. Where's the news? Okay, 10 seconds. So it might be displacement. Let's put the displacement at 0. There's the news. Let's justify left. Let's click overlay. Where does that put it? That has moved it a bit. Yeah, I think just have a play around with that, bud, I think. Have a play around with it. But it's one of those. Down the bottom, there's something that says display left, right, and overlay or something. And then a displacement number or something number. So have a little play around with it. Hopefully you can get it sorted out. You do know how to move the news indicator. Oh, yeah, you've just... I'm almost finished with my Pat journaling software. Okay. I will put it out on Mac's site free to use later this week. Good on you, mate. Journaling software. Okay, I'll be interested in that. Now, the only issue is I'm not with Mac at the moment. I have had 2 years with them over the last 3.5. So if you don't mind getting a copy to me, if you can, I'd appreciate it. If it's, free of charge, I'd appreciate that, mate. Yeah, thank you. Well, that's decent of you, that is, to do that. So good on you, mate. Free to use later this week. Brilliant. Okay, I'll keep playing. Yeah, it's there somewhere, bud. Leg. Okay, so the news has happened. So, I can send it you. I made it freeware, runs on Windows. I really appreciate that, mate. You know my email address, don't you? If you don't, I'll pop it on here. I'll stick it on here anyway. Right, forget the capital letters. I've put it in capitals, but it's lowercase. I've just got it set to capitals, so let's just get rid of it. So yeah, that's it, all lowercase. So yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. That's nice of you. Right, we've had 2 legs there, leg and a leg. So 2 legs back. And it's kind of a fell breakout there, isn't it? So we've had 2 legs back, a leg and a leg. So there is a possibility we could come up and do this, but I wouldn't just want to go on something like that. One, it's massive bar for starters. But we were kind of here with the intention of, well, hopefully, intention of pushing higher. So let's see if we can get a second entry long here or a break or something. Excuse me. So it's kind of a little bit sideways, and you may call this a fail breakout. I think there's a good chance we break these highs. The only trouble is we've got bar after bar after bar. We've got no break or anything yet. So we need a break here or something. It could just keep pushing up and there's no way in. It often does, and it's frustrating. I noticed Wilson back on the scene. Good to have him back. He's got now. We know the story, don't we? We've all done it. He lost his 20 accounts, and he's got $150,000 accounts, which I don't think's a bad idea. It gives you that little bit of extra breathing room, and he's already been there and taken a payout. So I think he'll probably get there a little bit easier this time round. I think every time you do fail and you come back, you kind of improve a little bit. And as he's been there and had a taste of some half-decent money, I think he'd do okay. Yeah, he did, yeah. I mean, it does beg the question, doesn't it? Why do we do that sometimes? The trouble is, I mean, what's he paying for them $50? So he's paid $1,000. It's very easy to go against you. Now, I can't criticise because I've done it myself many times, and I still do on occasion. It's a tricky one, that, isn't it? I certainly wouldn't buy 20, 150 and then go, one direction and try and do it in one big push. I certainly wouldn't do that. It's expensive if it goes wrong. We all know if we're taking a punt on something like that. I'm not saying he did. He had an inkling where the price was going to go, but the trouble is it can get expensive, can't it? I think the most I've ever traded in one go, account-wise, is probably, well, if I've gone for a big push, is about 2. I'd rather do it in 2s. I think you go for 4, 6 or 8 as a target, depending on market. Oh, you're talking to what's it? Yeah, 4, 6 or 8. You're talking about ticks there, aren't you? Yeah. So, it's kind of hoping for a higher low here, but can't do nothing with that, unfortunately. But this does look like it's likely to push up. There will have been a sort of a failure there, so I dare say there'll be some, maybe a few stops there. Or we're going to continue to. That's interesting, very interesting. In fact, I'm going to put an actual range in there. It was interesting. It pushed up like that, and then turned. So I dare say, leg and a leg and a push up. There are bound to be some people buying that long, thinking if we push above that, and that, we're going to get towards these highs. But it just goes to show how bloody devious this market can be. Look, you go long there, triggers you, come straight down, stop you out. It's absolutely infuriating at times. I've got to say, the times I've gone for a punt, which I have done occasionally, second entry short triggered, yeah, I wouldn't trust that either. In all fairness, mind you, could say it's a triple test. The trouble is it's 21 ticks. So 1 tick below, that's 22, 23. So it's just a massive risk. And I just don't trust this market at the moment. It's going sideways. So, I mean, what would you have got there? I think you'd probably got 2 points. So let's say you go a tick below. So you'd definitely got 2 points out of it. Trouble is, it's such a big bloody bar. If you get crucified on that, that'll cripple you. So let's say here, so realistically, yeah, you're talking 5.5 points. It's a big risk, that is, for a couple of points. No, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys have found this. Sometimes when these evaluations are cheap and you go for a big move, let's say it's more of a risk. Let's call it a gamble, if you like. Have you ever noticed, though, it never goes in your favour? Whenever you get in, it always seems to turn. Now, I think sometimes you'd be better off closing your eyes and clicking the button. These algorithms, the way they're designed are to sort of sucker inexperienced traders. That's where the money comes from, inexperienced traders. The experienced ones, the big boys and that, know how to make these things work and know how to get them. The money's got to come from somewhere. Makes perfect sense. It comes from inexperienced traders. And they're not stupid. I think sometimes you would be better off Not, obviously if you've got a strategy, if you're sticking to the rules of a strategy, that's a different story. But if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have a go, let's see if the market goes up or whatever, I think, it's kind of designed to give you a hint of where it may go, and it kind of does the complete opposite. I've just given up trying to do that anymore. It's just not worth it. It just frustrates the hell out of you. But at the moment, I don't know where this thing's going. Marco's just hit the nail on the head. There's no clear direction. He's got that right. Don't be a donator. Absolutely. Absolutely. How you doing, Karina? Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, I wouldn't mind if I was donating to the market. I'm not, but I'm donating to Apex, and that kind of feels worse. At least I'll be donating to other traders rather than donating to a profit, but that's the way it is. But, you've got to do an element of it. We've all gambled. We've all taken silly risks. We've all taken stupid trades out of pure frustration. And it's kind of the only kind of way to learn, really. Obviously, some people do it a lot more than others. And I've done my fair share of it, probably more than my fair share of it. But you kind of have to do stupid things to learn. And it's, you don't have to, but I think it just kind of comes with the territory, unfortunately, because it is such an emotional business to be in. And when you're risking money, we get very connected to money, don't we? And we don't like giving it away. Sometimes we're okay throwing it away sometimes, but we don't like it being taken. But yeah, that's a good point. That don't be a donator. So look, there may be a failure here, but this is just choppy at the moment. Possible second entry short. I don't even want to take that. That bar's interesting. The fact that we've pushed up once, pushed up twice, and we couldn't get anywhere near it. I'd say there's a fair chance that that's going to be pretty safe. I could be completely wrong, but I'd say there's more chance of this thing coming down. You could say 1, 2, 3. We've had 1, 2, 3 good attempts to push up, and we clearly could not get above there. And then we had a big bearish bar. So I'd say there's more chance of this taking out, stops like that, and maybe even down here. Trouble is, if you take a trade here, it could smash you up before it eventually comes down. So unfortunately, really, you just can't really trade here. Not safely, or as safely as you can. Having said that, we have had a leg up. And there's a fair chance that we could have another leg up, which would clearly break these highs. So, a lot of the time, I think the fact that it's going sideways, it has more chance of breaking the level. I think if it was going to turn, it would have probably done it by now. But, who knows? It is hard to trade around here. Yeah. Yeah, this to me looks like it's sucking in longs. Come on, boys, follow me, jump in here. And then all of a sudden, wham. It could trigger you here and then drop. If you look, we've come down. We've tried to go up once, tried to go up a second time. We've come down, and this is a third time. This could come dropping down. Dangerous trading here. My gut feeling is this drops below there. That's where I think this will come down to, and take out that bar there. In fact, let's get rid of that. Someone, I think I've taken a trade there. I think I'm mad. I think that'll come down and break that level. I'll be surprised really if this does get up, because 1, 2, 3, you know, we've had 3 attempts and a really big strong bearish bar. So I'd say if you were looking at some kind of volume profile or something, you'd probably see a lot of volume around about there. So any stops there? I doubt many people would have bought there, to be honest with you, but that'll be the key, I think. I certainly wouldn't buy there right in the middle, so I think that's probably easy pickings to get some liquidity. And obviously after that 1, 2, 3 big pushes up in that bearish bar, it now could sort of start to come down, I think. Certainly could get something like that. I'll put it there just out of curiosity. You know, depends how you're looking at this really. You know, 1, 2, 3. We've made a few attempts to push higher and we've really struggled. So the most obvious. So if you took that one, that's just gone. Yeah, it's just eaten through that. Will it get down here? It's interesting. It stopped right at the bottom of that channel that I've just put there. So that's encouraging. So leg and a leg. You'd like to think there's going to be quite a few stops below there. Whether it'll push straight down, I'd like to think it'll probably pull back a little first. So if you bought there, it's game over really, if you're thinking you're rolled into the tops or something. So I think the only way that's going to break the highs is if there was plenty of buyers down here. It's certainly had a good push, but I wouldn't go long at the moment. Yeah, it's hard to read at the moment, this is. So if that's pushed up that high, it may get above there. I thought that would have been quite safe, to be honest with you. Usually the sort of the strongest positional trades are usually the safest. We've gone up once, twice, 3 times. And there's it's a big bearish bar there, and that's the 3rd time we've pushed up. So you'd like to think that area was safe. But if we can get above all this, you can imagine there's going to be quite a few stops. If it does get above there, I think it'll do it with a little bit of speed. Yeah. I very rarely even look at the ATR anymore, just out of curiosity. I like to know my risk, but I generally know my risk from here. So this is interesting. Channel up, 2 attempts to push lower, 2 attempts to push higher. Could be kind of like a penguin sort of trade if this pushes strong through that EMA. Kind of 2 legs back, 2 attempts to push higher. I got no idea at the moment. It's just hard to read this. You never quite know where it's going to go. There is an element of it could go either up or down when it's doing this choppy stuff. Possible lower high. We still haven't reached that yet, so I'm not taking anything. This is kind of a break. We haven't made a new high from this, although it is kind of 2 legs back, 2 legs up. If this pushes below there, below that EMA, it's kind of like a penguin setup, 2 legs back. So we had a break, 2 legs back. We made 2 attempts to push higher. If that fails and pushes through that EMA, that's very much a penguin style trade, I think. One of his slightly more advanced ones that I don't quite fully understand yet, but so channel, I mean, you could even argue we've already had a break there. Very slight one. Lower high. See if we push through here and get a failure. Second entry long, which triggers and gives us a failure. This is interesting. It's technically a second entry long. I wouldn't take it. By the count, it is. Trap that bar there. I certainly won't be going along there, right? And there's such a lot of support there. I'm not saying it won't push up. It may do. In fact, it's also struggling to come down. So if it can get above there, then I think it's got a fair chance of breaking this high. But at the moment, it seems to be struggling to go up or down, which makes it even more dangerous for me. There is a failure there. I prefer to put my order below there. Trouble is, it's such a big risk. Oh, it's actually not that big. It's blown that idea anyway. Okay, it never triggered anyway, so yeah. It's unlikely it trapped anybody. There is a second entry long there by the count, but to me, that's just a leg with a break. It could come down here and bounce off this, trigger this, come down. So there's nothing I would have taken there, and I wouldn't have gone long into all that. There's a lot we've pushed up and bounced multiple times, so it's a bit risky to go long, I think. Not only that, it's stacked up sideways. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. Possibly soon to be 5. So it's just too dangerous to trade here at the moment. God knows what it's going to do. Rodian, how you doing, friend? Long time no speak to. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it? Couple of 3 weeks. How are you getting on? How's the trade? Yeah, not too bad, mate. I have my ups and downs like we all do. But I like to think I'm still aiming in the right direction, which is positive. So yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I did have a bit of a hiccup last week. I was trading a couple of different things, and I disconnected my Guardian Angel trader, and it caused me some problem. Well, trouble is, you seem to get a bit of success. You all of a sudden don't think you need that little backup. Turns out I did. So it's made a new high there, so that's interesting. But yeah, you just got to learn for it, move on. But I have it on now too, doing good. I'm focusing on more on the NQ. Good on you, mate. I've got that to the left here now. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. What feels right for you is the best thing to do. Now that's interesting. Now there's a second entry short there. We've broken above here. Trouble is, we've still got room to the highs here, so this could trigger and push up, and it's 18 ticks. So it's too risky taking that, really. I took a trade, well, very similar to that last week, and ended up in heaps of trouble. It was a 4-point risk, and the market moved that quick. It ended up being a 6.25 point risk. So, so at the moment, I'm just sitting tight and letting that do its stuff. It hasn't triggered as yet. Excuse me. Who knows? It could trigger and come launching down. I don't know. If you know the channel's played out, that channel's played out. Trouble is, it happened the other week. We'd had a break and a play out, and I took a lower high and got stung. So, lower high maybe. That's what I mean. You just don't know what it's going to do. Went straight down below there. It came down to the midline, another little bounce. So. Yeah, see, I don't like that. It's come down, bounced there and turned up. Could take a lower high here, but the fact that it's gone down, there's no more liquidity now down to here, and it just seemed to bounce, which tells me there was buyers around here. Or possibly, well, a mixture of buyers, maybe sellers taking profits or something. Yeah, I hate it, the market when it's like this. It's just unpredictable. It's just bouncing in all different directions. So you could say fell break out of this, broke the highs, turn around, push down, turn, push straight back up. We're nearly at the highs now, so we're nearly at the breaking this out, so, or taking this stop out. So it's just unpredictable. So I'm guessing we got a leg up with a bunch of sideways stuff. My gut feeling now is this is more likely to go up. Well, eventually, whether it comes down and retest this, but leg and a leg, certainly to these highs anyway. Did come back in from that, but then we bounced and pushed up pretty strongly. Trade earlier. I'm staying up too late and there's not enough volatility. Yeah, that's the trouble. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I definitely think of the overnight. Well, overnight for me, or Asian session, whatever they call it. I think the NQ is better for that. And obviously, you can go down to a 1,500 tick or 1 minute. I think you can go down to a 20-second, can't you? So it is tradable, but yeah, you kind of have to fit it in around you. I mean, if you know, what are you, about 11 hours ahead or something like that? You kind of got to fit it around him with your own time frame, really. There's, you know, if you're up ridiculous o'clock at night, you know, and you've got families or a job, it can be a bit tricky, really. So you kind of need to fit something that fits into your normal sort of routine. It's not easy otherwise. It's hard to trade. That's the trouble. You've really got to keep your patience. It's very easy to get chopped up in this stuff. I mean, there's traps around here. It's very trappy. Bearish bar there. You think, there we go. Bearish bar coming down, triggers you, pushes up, stops you out. Trouble is, it's still bouncing around that area, which telling me that the buyers may be protecting this area. I wonder. You know, there may be two legs, but I mean, there's a possibility this could be a channel. We've got two perfect legs back, and kind of pushing up maybe a second inch long. It's hard to say, really. But it could be. Don't know. You've got to try these things and then see how they react to these levels. I do like the fact that we've had a touch, and a touch. Touch. We've had a break out of this channel. We've had two legs back in. We've only got 3/4 of the way down here, or 2/3 of the way down, however you're looking at it. And we're starting to push up already, which is telling me we could have a channel there. But it is a bit unpredictable. So if you do decide to be thinking about going longer, you've got to be so careful. You're off to bed. Good luck. Yeah. You too, mate. Take it easy. I'm not sleeping brilliant. My sleep's all over the place. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning cooking bread. My daughter loves sourdough, so I tend to do one every other day. I just couldn't sleep, so I got up for an hour, cooked that. So my sleep is a bit all over the place. I need to focus on trying to get some sort of some sort of stability in my sleep, because you do find yourself getting tired when I think really, if you've got anything going on in your life, whether you're tired, frustrated, whatever, I think trading has got a habit of bringing it out and exposing it. Excuse me a sec. I should have not. No. Don't worry about that, mate. To be honest with you, I'll only answer them at night if I'm awake anyway, or I wake up. It's not your fault, mate. Don't worry. My sleep's been all over the place for a while. Trouble is, when you're at home all the time, you get out of a routine of getting out in the morning. You know, if you're going out and going to work at a certain time, you get up at the same time in the morning. You go to bed at the same time. But my sleep's a little bit all over the place at the moment. But no, it's not you, mate. Told you guys you can message me anytime if I'm awake or I wake up and I see it, I'll answer it. But I have it on silent at night. It goes on silent from about 11 o'clock, so I'll only have a look if I'm awake. So, what are we doing here? Are we actually pushing up into something else, or are we just retesting this top? It's hard to say, really. I don't want to go long or short here. One, there's no way to go long, really. And I won't want to go short just at the moment. You don't have dogs that get you up. No, we do have dogs. We got 2 cockapoos. But no, they don't get us up. They're pretty all right, actually. Nah. They do sleep on the bed with us. Well, the one sleeps in my daughter's room, but we have the one Wilson that sleeps on the bed. But no, they're pretty quiet. Unless the door gets knocked. Then they liven up. Okay, so we came right down to that level. 2 bars turned and pushed up strong right off it. So for me, that bottom of that channel is playing a part, and the reason well, partly because it fits so nice at the top. Trouble is, it's also a little bit sideways. So you've still got to be careful. It's still a bit sideways and choppy, and it makes it a bit harder. Yeah, it's an hard day so far. There's a lot of this whipping backwards and forwards, and lack of well, we know the direction is up, but not, it's still whipping up and down on its way up there, and it's making it a little bit tricky. In fact, I can probably move that up now. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's just so dangerous to trade this. You know something? I mentioned last week about that guy at Watson. He does this sort of self-assessment, and I just kind of did it, and I was trying to be aware of how I was feeling. I could feel myself being a bit impatient, and I think it works. I think it's useful to do just every now and again. Whenever you think, every 15 or 20 minutes, just takes a few seconds, 5-10 seconds. Just to give yourself a little self-assessment, just to see how you feel. Thanks for that, Jan. I appreciate that, bud. I will take a look at that when I've finished. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. That's about as Spanish as I get. Brilliant. I'll have a look at that later. Thank you very much, mate. But yeah, I can feel myself getting a little bit, I don't know, irritable is the word, but the fact that I'm aware of it has helped me calm down. In fact, while we're up here at the moment, I'm going to make a quick cup of tea. That'll stretch my legs a bit, but I think it's useful because, we all know that we're trading. You've got to be on your game. Sometimes you go into work, and if you're having an off day, it's not a major issue. But if you're having an off day when you're a trader, it can be costly. And if you've already got an off day and you end up losing money, that just turns an off day into an off day. It just makes things worse. So I think it's useful to have a little bit of a self-scan just to see how you're feeling, just to, how do you feel inside? And I just did it, and I could tell myself feeling just a little bit irritable. So I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Shift that over there a bit. Quick 5-minute break. Make a cup of tea. I'll let it do its stuff. I ain't getting in here anyway. Are we bouncing off here? Are we coming down? Or I don't know what the hell we're doing. So makes sense just to do nothing. So quick 3 to 5 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. What did I miss? Nothing. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't think we need it now. Trouble is, it's hard to go long here, really. Short here, really. Although we're kind of going sideways, because it could continue to go up. So unfortunately, there's not really a lot I can do at the moment. So we had two nice legs back, so I think there's a good chance we could get up to this level. In fact, is that all-time highs? I don't think it is actually, is it? Or is it? Maybe it is actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is all-time highs. Let me just have a look on the daily. 800, it's just under 800, so yeah, that is all-time highs. So let's just put that just under 800. Yeah, let's put that about there. So are we pushing for that again? We're getting very close if we get that other leg up there. So let's lock that, extend right. Nice. Okay, so if we do get a measured leg, that'll get us within spitting distance. So that's if, obviously. There's no guarantees we will get up there, but you know, we kind of had our range down here, and we pushed out. We came only so far back. We've pushed out, we've bounced, we've pushed out, and we're holding. So who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. It could come down a little bit, maybe just to intercept something like that, maybe, and then up some more. It's hard to say at the moment. Or it may be from here. Something like that. It's hard to say. I really don't know at the moment. It's really not giving much away. It does tend to be working up. But we have... I don't know really is the answer. You don't have dogs. Oh, no. You've already asked, haven't you? So, leg and a leg, maybe a higher low. Let's have a quick look at this daily. So there's all-time highs, so we're not far off. We could break that pretty. We're only about 20 points off it, which is nothing really. So leg and a leg, yeah, I think there's a good. Now, obviously, there's a possibility it could come back down to here, but we've only really just come back down and we've had one push up, so I think we could quite easily push up there. So there's a good chance we go higher. Let me just see if I can find. Yeah, okay. So we've got a touch there, a touch there. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down one attempt, 2 attempts. Hard to say. We could go up. It's hard to say. As we know, it's a bit tricky and a bit choppy, so it could entice you into a trade thinking we're bouncing off here, we're already working up, let's go, and all of a sudden it triggers you and starts to work down and offers you a change of underwear. So it's hard to say. It is holding there, but it is kind of a channel down with 1, 2 attempts, so it could come down below this stuff. It's a possibility of a larger channel. Yeah, I've messed around with a couple of those. Whether you mean from here or as in, I wish it wouldn't do that, or as in something like this. Yeah, It's hard to say that. Yeah, it has come down. It's hard to say at the moment because we've pushed up, we've gone sideways, we've broken out, and now, well, all of a sudden now look at this. So it's, you know, as we've held in there, I bet you there'll have been a few buyers buying around here. Let's wait for that fail second entry long. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about it because it is holding on there. But that's what I mean. It's not very clear, really. It push up a little bit, chop, push up, chop. Let's have a look. So, yeah, if we have got a channel like that, there could be a bit of an overshoot, so that may be a bigger correction. It's hard to say at the moment. It's not the easiest chart to read, really. It's easy to get stuck here. But yeah, signal bar's a bit naff, wasn't it? And it is kind of holding to a degree, isn't it? Overnight lows and overnight lows, yeah. Trouble is, when it's like this, I think you forget, really. You don't really have to know what's going on. Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes it's giving you mixed results. But sometimes I kind of frustrate myself because I can't figure out where it's going. And then you'll hear Max say the best traders are leaving all this. Why are they leaving it? Because they can't figure out what's going on, or it's not making sense, or it's just too choppy and too dangerous to enter. Now, I mean, if we're getting in down here with a stop, and we're getting in here and we've got to stop down here, you know, there's a certain amount of noise that won't really affect us. You know, if you still think this is going up and you've got to stop here and you entered maybe here, it doesn't matter that it's come back on you a little bit. But this does look like a leg and leg. So but the trouble is, because we trade with such tight stops and pick up such small movements, a little bit of extra noise from somewhere can easily take you out the game. One contract short, exit overnight low, sit back and relax. So you're up here, are you? Your short's here. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a short there and you're down here, you're laughing, really, aren't you? I'm assuming your stop will end up being there eventually, will it, or whatever, but they're... So we've had this channel, we've had loads of sideways, haven't we? And you could say we've had 1-2 pushes up, something like that, on a bigger chart. Well, in fact, no. On a bigger chart, it may look like 2 pushes up. And this may now come down. It's hard to say, and then all of a sudden we come down and push up strong, so... Bullish imbalance. There certainly is one, but we have broken the overnight highs, and we've pushed up there. We've triggered above it and pushed down quite strong, but now we seem to be pushing up. So maybe there is a, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. We know it's around about a tick above that midline, so move. So this could, let me have a look. I don't know, would you consider that a lower high, maybe? I probably wouldn't take that. Mind you, it is under that, what's it here, but at the moment it's very easy for that to trigger and to push up. And that bar's 14 ticks, it ain't finished yet. So, and not only that, there is a bullish imbalance and it could trigger you and push up. So, yeah, it's 20 ticks, tick above, tick below. It's just too much risk. It kind of looks like the type of bar that's bearish enough to have at least a half decent push down, which it is typically, but the trouble is because we are continuing up, you just don't know whether that's going to go against you or not. It's very choppy. And when it's like that, it does make it harder to read and easier to make a mistake. Let's have a look at the 10,000 tick chart, see if that gets rid of some of this rubbish. Well, even the 10,000 tick chart looks choppy to me. It actually does. Usually this would be a lot clearer, but okay, so push down there. 1, 2 legs up, broken these highs, so maybe this is a little clearer. I'm guessing that's, yeah, we haven't made nowhere near that second leg. So, leg. So it kind of is working up to a degree. So if that had been a second entry short, then I may have had a go at that. Well, I would have had a go at that. At the moment, there's our... Let's have a look. We kind of got 2 little pushes up and a big bearish bar, and then we go sideways. It would have to be a second entry short for me to take that, really, or a lower high. It's only really a first entry. First entry, second entry. I don't know when I class that as a lower high. It's, I mean, I think that's the type of trade or the type of bar, the way that looks, that might not be a setup, but kind of looks like it's going to work, you know. So I think that's something that some may take. I know Sam will have a go at stuff like that, and he seems to do all right at them, actually. But whenever I tend to take them, they tend to trigger me and stop me out. So I tend to just go for sort of, you know, valid, or, you know, valid setups. Unfortunately, it's not really, although it does look very tempting. But because we're doing this, you don't know whether that's the bounce, and we push up, trigger some shorts and push up again. It's hard to tell because it is giving us that impression that we are working up. So really, for me, shorts are kind of be on hold at the moment. So, touch, nice, overshoot. So what the hell are we doing here? Doesn't make sense to me. I would say it is pretty much just a range day. But isn't that working? This is the bounce off the support here. It's kind of why I wasn't really interested in there, because I didn't know how far it may come down. And not only that, if you go in something like that, going short there for me would be just that little bit risky. Trouble is, sometimes if you do it, it works. Other times it'll trigger below it and push up. If it is going to bounce over here, I think from a algorithm's point of view, it's always good to have some short stops. And let's face it, there's probably going to be some. There'll certainly be some there. So you don't know whether it will trigger. We've got very close to the bottom there. You could even argue we have got to it. It's very close. And that could be the little bounce. Just a bit of a pullback. It could trap you short and push up. Turns out it did work. But it only came down to here. So, I mean, it did give you plenty of points, but you just don't know that it's going to do that, because we clearly are working up and at the top as well. Mind you, having said that, you probably could say there's a small overshoot over the top, so often we get a bit of a bigger correction, but we've already had 2 legs down for me, a leg and a leg, and a strong push-up. But you just don't know, do you? You never truly know when it's like this. it's not always that clear. And I find sometimes if you're not sure, it's not very clear, you're always safer just to stay out of it, I think, and wait for a more obvious trade. It's not the easiest trade to trade in day to day. There's a lot of this sideways stuff. I've not seen anybody on Thomas Wade's forum in a trade yet that I've noticed. No one's showing any trades yet, and probably rightly so, actually. Sensible thing to do at the moment is just to sit tight until we get some kind of direction. But it's hard at the moment. It's very hard. It's very messy. Sometimes we'll get a push up and bit of sideways and a push up, bit of sideways. We've had 2 pushes up and one hell of a lot. I mean, it's been 2.5, 3 hours, that lot. Where do we start? Say, I don't know. Well, let's say about here. So it was about, midday-ish UK time. So for 3 hours and 45 minutes, it's been doing that. Granted, we are kind of working up, but we may only be, working up to this level and down we come. Who knows? Sorry if I'm waffling a bit today. Some days I can't shut up. But I'd rather talk about this, and if we got these sort of newer guys in, you're always best to stay out of that. This is where you'll lose most of your trades trading this stuff. I know because I've done it. If you're not sure and it's chopping sideways, just leave it alone, and let it eventually it'll move. Hopefully today, but eventually it'll start to move off in a direction or come down or something. It doesn't often just stay in a small range all day, although it does happen. But if it is just ranging, it's the sort of tops, really, to short and bottoms to long, but stay out of this stuff. I mean, if you're a good chart reader, I suppose you'd be better at doing this, but this is a bit above me. I kind of see what's going on, but it is very choppy, and I know if I started taking trades in here, I'd get crucified. So, yeah, I think you learn after time, don't you? The more you get chopped up, the more you tend to just give up trying, and just, when it's like this, just sit back, have a cup of tea, put your feet up. As I say, I go for a flat 3 points now, so even if I got 2 trades a week, that would make me a stack of money. You can always find 2 trades in a week. Has anyone had a payout for my funded futures, or is it only transferred? I haven't. I've got $800 in my one account, so transfers to Rise. That they accept it. Yeah, you have to have a Rise account. I've got a little bit of commissions, about $130 of commissions, I think, this month. So whoever's used my code and link this month, thank you very much. So I've had to open a Rise account. I think the only thing with Rise, they charge you a flat $20 to withdraw anything. It's not a huge amount, but it's more than you get from Plain. Plain don't charge you anything. They know how to make money from you, these companies, don't they? But yeah, you have to sign up for a Rise account. Rise, I think, are just like Plain. They're like an online payment thing for companies to use, say, stop over, so they don't have to have their own, sort of wage department or whatever. But yeah, you just sign up to a Rise account. It's pretty straightforward, actually. You have to go through the normal swings and roundabouts. Picture your passport, your driving license, a picture of you, stuff like that, just to confirm you are who you are. So yeah, there's been a few people actually using my code for my funded futures. I do appreciate it. And of course Apex as well. It enables me to have a small wage so I can stay at home while my wife's out working hard and trade for 2 hours. In fact, I was watching an interesting video over the weekend. Let me see if I can find it. I've seen this guy before. He's a British guy. He's part of. Let me see if I can look for my history and find it. I like this. It talks about trading, how hard it is, and whether it kind of can be done and stuff like that, and how difficult it is. But it is doable if you keep pursuing it. That's the key. There does seem to be a definitive difference between being able to do it and not being able to do it, which is keep trying. And it does take longer than people think. And that's where unfortunately people give up, sometimes very close. So I think the name of the game is, if you stick at it, you know, whether it's down to mindset that will change or whatever it is. It seems to be that one, but the kind of the general consensus that I can see is, if you continue at it, you'll get somewhere. But I will say, and I can't tell you enough, really do limit how much you put into this business, because you can throw a lot of money away, and I have done. It's very easy to do it, just to get frustrated with the markets and throw money at it. I've really done it. I can't find it now. Where are you? Is it on my phone? Let me have a look. I'll find it. When was it? How far back am I? He's a British guy, and he's part of, I think, he's part of UK spread betting, I think. Yeah, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Oh, see, Anthony Joshua lost, didn't he? He certainly got put on his backside. I can't find it now. I know he is. I'll have a look later. But it was a really good video. I've seen it before, I think. Is your history different on your mobile? You know what I mean? Yeah, he's quite a well-spoken guy, isn't he? Let me have a look at my phone. I'm not sure whether it is good. I'm going to start earmarking. In fact, I took a photo of it. I know I did. I was going to say I'm going to start earmarking these and put them into a folder. Let's see. I watch so many YouTube videos. What's his name? So look, is there any new change coming to Apex? Not sure what people are talking about in Alpine's chat. Not that I know of. What I will say is they are paying quicker. I'm hearing lots of stories now that people are getting, they're putting orders in and they're getting it confirmed and paid within 24 to 48 hours. I did mention that briefly on Friday. So I am that's a good sign. People are complaining again about Apex payout denials. My honest opinion, I've not spoke to anybody who's been denied that has told me they did bend the rules a bit and they did do this a bit. But I've not spoke to anybody as yet. Only small payouts, larger getting processed. Strange, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, really, isn't it? The trouble is, we all do stupid things, don't we? We all take risks. I've done it myself. You know, some of the early payments I had from Apex, it was questionable whether I deserved them, but they still paid me. So I'm yet to hear someone say to me they traded the rules to the letter and they didn't get paid. So I'm not concerned. I know if I was, I'd start to merge somewhere else. So I am using a little bit of my funded futures because I think it's important to maybe have a couple, and just in case. You never know what might happen in the future. You never know if one of these companies might go bust, and you've not tried anything else. So I like to know how easy these are to get the evaluations going and how quick it, that sort of stuff. Not getting processed, yeah, because they don't follow the rules. Yeah, I genuinely believe it's because of the rules. If you follow the rules, I think you're okay. This is interesting. Yeah. Telegram group from Spain. Almost all got paid this month and quicker. Yeah, it's definitely speeding up. I'm surprised we haven't heard about it actually from the man himself. So I'm still trying to find this video. Where's my history? Not now. I'm getting addicted to this cracking. I watch them on YouTube, where they crack people's necks and backs. Strange. I am strange, I know. How do I get onto history? I want to show you guys this. You've probably seen it, but it's important. Because I think if you're getting a bit frustrated, it will help you. Why can I not get onto my history? Where's my history? Come on, Nancy boy. I can't find it. I can't find my history. How is Alpine doing anyway? He seems to be getting crucified lately. So ever since he stopped doing his range thingy, it's like a range strategy that I've never seen someone be so successful at a strategy and make so many green days every time. He opened up, it was $200, $300, $400 up per account. If you connect highs just before the market opened. Oh, what's that, mate? Oh, I can't find it at the moment. I'll see if I can find it a bit. So, mate, if you connect to the highs just before the market open, you connect the current highs. It could be possible. So where do we open? We opened here, yeah. Larger range. Are you on about just this? Just bring this down here like this. That bit freaks me out though. So that. Is that what you meant? Further back, connect the highs. You're on about there then, aren't you? Yeah, I like that. That looks nice. Let me just kill the colour here. Ah! Damn, he's beat me to it. I know he hasn't. He's got that as a break. Let me just kill the colour. Thomas Way's just put it, but he's put it as if we've got a break here. Oh, he's put it slightly different. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get in there and take a photo of him and put it in so I'll look better than he does. Sorry, I've stole your idea. Sean. I put that in, see, it'll make me look good. Paste quick before he changes his mind. Yeah, I'm in. I look good now. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, look. Excuse me. He's gone for it there. He's gone for the bottom instead of there. I think your idea is better, mate. It fits nicer. Fits there. Sorry, fits there. Fits perfect and fits nice there. So he's got a thumbs up. I better get something. I'll be very unhappy. But yeah, I like that. That works nice for me. It works perfect, doesn't it? Near enough. I've got two beautiful. In fact, you could even squeeze it there and say touch, 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 touch. Looks perfect to me. Not only does it look, it visually looks, it's not the nicest looking chart. There's a lot of chop, but it visually works. Yeah, some other guys just put it on as well, but we beat him to it, Sean. Him. Yeah, he's gone from there. Makes perfect sense. That one, yeah, that's it there. This one, you can kind of see there, we got a break out there and it hasn't reached there, so it kind of makes sense to bring it down and push it up. So, nicely done, Sean. Well done, mate. It's still choppy, but it is, we are definitely moving up. But you've got to be so careful. It's very easy to get two legs down here, take a long, and it trips you up, comes down to the bottom, or breaks the lows here, or bounces off the midline. So we got a leg with a break and a new high. Yeah, it's very hard to read today. It's kind of bouncing all over the place. See, we pushed up. In fact, if you look at this area here and look at this area here, they're almost identical. That's just oh, doing that. Yeah, that area. Oh, sod off. Excuse me. I'm getting mad. Yeah, that area there. Copy. Paste. And that area there, they're kind of identical. Push up, break, new high, leg, bigger leg. Push up, break, new high, leg, maybe a bigger leg and then a turn. But yeah, you can see that right there, right there. They're almost identical. We've come off the bottom. Nice strong channel up, break, small high, pushed a bit higher, add another tuck. We've done the same, break, push up strong, break, new high, and another attempt, and then down. So, yeah. Still struggling to break. Yeah, we're struggling to do anything really, aren't we? We are going up in a fashion, but not very neatly. But yeah, if you look at that, it's almost identical. Let's see if it sort of plays out the same. A bunch of people are saying they got emails saying they can't buy any more evals, and that they also have rules in place on current accounts, no DCA at all, and buffer left in account withdrawal. I've not heard anything like that, mate. So I can read that again. A bunch of people are getting emails saying they can't buy any more evals. And they also have rules in place on current accounts, no DCN. And a buffer left in accounts for a withdrawal. I've not heard anything as of yet. So I'll look, see if there's anything on any of the Facebook channels that people are saying. See, normally if there's any types of changes, I always get an email. I've had nothing, has it? Just check my junk mail. Oh, no, I'll tell you what I've had though. Fast track trading halt. Fast track trading's halted. I'm right to inform you that we have temporarily halted all trade on fast track trading accounts due to technical issues. Okay, affected with rhythmic. This bug is incorrectly triggering admin only status on trading. Okay, so that's okay. So that's just a bug. That's fast track trading. I don't think many of us use those, do we? I think someone does. Guess Apex isn't having any money problems if they don't allow people to buy. Yeah. Yeah, it's unusual that you can't buy an evaluation. Surely that's where their bread and butter comes from. You like to think so. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Sometimes you get rumours that might sort of tend to, it's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? Sometimes things get, sort of misunderstood or something. Let's have a look at that. So we got a channel with a break and a new low and a bullish bar. Now I can tweak that just a fraction and that would work okay for me. But I wouldn't just take that. Well, definitely not now. So let's put that back where it was. Touching nice. Leg and a leg. But yeah, almost identical, but we didn't go a bit further down. So let's maybe put a couple of legs. See if that might help us out as to where it may go. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade has his channel there. Let me have a look. Which on his chart created a break, which would be here. But then it pushed up and didn't make a new high. So whether it is that or not, I don't know. That's the one we drew. All right, let's correct that. That's the one Sean drew. I stole his idea. He's done it the same. That's the 10,000 tick chart. So I got that above my head. Looking wedgy up here. Yeah. So as yet, I think, well, we've got one or two starting to look like a range. Yeah, it's starting to come down. I've still got my range lines in there at the moment. If it comes down to these levels, then I'll get rid of that channel. Mind you, having said that, if it is a channel, we could have a leg and it could push up. But I mean, it is very rangy anyway. We push up again and then range. So although it is kind of working, sometimes it just does. But yeah, when it isn't definitive, it can just change, can't it? And if we're saying this is the top of a range, we all see these channels that work up beautifully and all of a sudden get to the top of the range and just turn. I know, majority of the time when we have these breaks, you usually, make a new high or low or whatever the case may be. But, when we have these range days, sometimes it'll just turn. If it's still in a channel when it gets to the top, there is a chance it could just turn without having a break and a new high. If there's sellers up here, I don't suppose it matters to them so much if they're short in here and taking profits down here, whether it has a break and a new high so much. I was having a kind of a little play around with volume profile. A trader buddy of mine, Marlon, said I went, was it long or short? I went short right into strong volume. What did he call it? The put of control, POA, put of control, POC. He called put of control. From what I gather, it's the strongest part of the bit of volume, but I don't fully understand it. But I am having a little look. But yeah, it is starting to look rangy. In fact, if I get rid of that, yeah, if you have a quick glance at that, it is very much rangy, isn't it? There is definitely a slight moving up, up this way, and we could have a leg and it may push higher, but sometimes you're better off getting rid of all of them and starting afresh. That's all I'm going to do. Let's get rid of everything. So let's put that there, and let's say somewhere about there. You could go a bit lower, but let's put it there. I want to have some touches there and there. Touch there. Couple of touches there. I think that's as good as we've got, really. I think that makes sense more than the channel at the moment. Because that channel, now I've taken it away, is kind of faded into the background, really, isn't it? What's that? PUC is a price where most traders incurred over the period. Yeah. So apparently I went short into it, mind you. So that, yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand what it is, and it's kind of it's where the most trading was done. But is it the most trading long or short? Because I went short into it. So I suppose if you were coming to it, you probably wouldn't short into it. You would probably see if it bounces there and pushes off, then you may go long, or does it push through and retest the underside, in which case you may go short. So yeah, me going short into it probably wasn't the best idea. I mean, I have got the lifetime license on NinjaTrader, so I can, get it for free. But it's okay getting it on your chart, but if you don't understand to read it, it's just kind of probably just confuse you. So I am going to play around with it and see if I can because I think, if the thing I like about Max is I'm trading one chart and there's very little, if any, indicators. We just really use the EMA. Apart from that, it's just a case of lines, really, up trends, channels, and stuff like that, really. But if I had that, I've got the same chart up there, but just with a slightly different end of day. But having it on there, volume profiles, sometimes if I'm going to go maybe short into something like I did the other day, it doesn't take a second to have a quick glance up, just to see if you may be shorting into an area that maybe not be so wise. So I don't think it hurts sometimes to. I went for a phase of looking at Bookmap. I don't think I really understood. I understand what the areas were. I understand what the bubbles were, what everything indicated. But I probably didn't learn to understand it as well as I should have done. Sometimes if we're bouncing off this, and sometimes you may decide to go short here, and the thing decides to trigger and push up. You may have an indication there whether it be maybe worth shorting or not based on that. So I don't think it hurts having something else, as long as you know how to use it properly, and as long as you're not giving yourself, kind of too much to do. We trade as a buy, sell. So what you said doesn't make sense. Every trade has a buy and sell. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. Volume profile doesn't tell you if the market order was a buy. No, what I mean is if I'm, I went short that trade the other day and it triggered me and shot up. Do you remember? I ended up losing. Would that have stopped me going short into it? So not necessarily telling me where to buy, maybe where to have stayed out. Do you remember that trade I took last week? Was it on Friday? I went short on a lower high, and it bounced, pushed up, and rocketed up. So are they more useful to tell you where the strength is, and maybe if I'm, shorting into it? I mean, if it's bouncing off it like this and coming down, going long here might not be the best option if it's previously bounced and rejected. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I was thinking. As I say, I don't really know how to use it, so having it on probably isn't the best idea. But maybe trying to seeing if I could get some value out of it. It's just Marlon just happened to mention I shorted where I probably shouldn't have done. So, I have heard a lot of traders saying, that one guy, the one from Dubai, we all know his name, Omar Ashraf, something like that. He describes having order flow or not having order flow is only having part of the picture. So he didn't used to use it up until recently, I don't believe. He used charts like us. But when he learned to use it, he found like he had two parts of the puzzle instead of just one. So I think, now we scalp and we go for small movements. So maybe they're not as useful if you're going for bigger movements. But, I think, bits of software like that might help you stay out of a bad trade, if you know what I mean, if that makes, rather than... if you were taking a short here and you plan on getting out the bottom, these types of things like bookmap may be more useful, than going just for 2 points or something from here to here, where they may not prove, sort of useful. But it may stop you getting into bad trades. Sometimes if you're shorting these top, I tend to avoid shorting tops and buying bottoms. I'd rather get a lower high off them, but I have seen Mac mark these if it pushes up 3 times. But for me, I tend to go for a lower high. But, maybe bits of software like that could help you possibly make a better decision when it comes to it works well for swing type. Yeah, that's what I mean. If you're going for a bigger move. See, I've only been trading for, be 4 years in December, so I'm still relatively inexperienced. So, you're kind of learning and wondering and asking questions still. Is there ways to help me make better decisions? I don't think it's a bad thing to do. It's kind of why I started using Bookmap. I don't use it at the moment to help me kind of make better decisions. And I understand what's going on, everything I'm seeing, but how you actually implement it into a trade is kind of a different story. So we've got a channel down here with a break, bearish bar, but we are finding support along there. Unfortunately, I can't take that trade anyway. So I don't like this. We got a little channel here. Are we going to bounce here? Are we going to trap shorts and then push up? I got no idea. It's very choppy and hard to read today. To be honest with you, with Max, you don't need it. No, I kind of come to that conclusion. But when Marlon said to me the other day, "Oh, I wish you'd learn to use it because you may not have gone short there," you kind of just think, "Well, am I missing something?" It's just that curiosity. But yeah, we go for a small movement here. I have looked at trading different charts, using things like Bookmap and maybe a few other indicators. But yeah, the conclusion I've come, keep it simple, yeah. The conclusion I've come to is that you don't really need it, but it's just Marlon happened to mention about that volume profile. I may not have taken that trade, so a curiosity sometimes. But yeah, I absolutely agree. When I first started trading, the guy that taught me had that sort of little KISS, I think he called it, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. But yeah, the more you start adding to these things, and I just think it's that, maybe that lack of confidence. Would it help me? Could it help me? But, I've also heard that same story that we've all heard. There's no magic indicator which will tell you what's going to happen. So channel down with a break. We have got a bearish bar here, but we've bounced here. We've bounced there. We've bounced there. And we could well bounce here. Well, we have pushed up to a degree. Whether we'll come down or not, I don't know. And we've kind of got two legs back. So unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do here. Keep it as simple as the best advice I got when I started. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It is very easy. You know, I definitely, I mean, I've asked myself that question, you know, sometimes where I talk about what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling and this, you know, sometimes I think, am I overly sorry. A lot of the times I'll say, I don't like this. This looks like a trap. I don't like it because of this. And a lot of times I'm right, and it does keep me out of bad trades. But, you know, well, I mean, you guys tell me, you guys see me trade every day. Do you think I make, you know, the judgments and theories I have, do you think they're worth doing? Do you think I have success doing, or do you think I overcomplicate things, you know? If you think I overcomplicate things and I should, you know, keep it simple. If I see something, just take it. But, you know, by all means, tell me I've got no issues with taking criticisms. If someone knows better than me, sometimes it's hard to see yourself. Sometimes, you know, I can see other traders sometimes and I think, oh, I wouldn't do that. And they lose it. But sometimes you don't necessarily see it with yourself. But yeah, it is easy sometimes. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely a lot of memory power going on when you're reading these charts, when you're making decisions. You know, there's thousands and thousands of these little decisions going through your head every second. What you see and how it looks. Should I take it? What's the overall picture? But I have volume profile, level 2, order flow, and VWAP on my Sierra chart setup. It's just easier with Ninja Trader 8. Yeah. Yeah. The trouble is, if you have all those things, you need to know how to use them, and that's kind of what I sort of lack, really. But okay, let's get rid of that. I kind of know what's going on. But I mean, there's such a with that order flow, there is such a lot of information, and I think it's probably one of those things that eventually starts to make a bit more sense. But yeah, someone told me if you're going to have something, just have VWAP. But I don't know. Because we go for such small movements, maybe all this doesn't really make a difference. If I'm only going from here to here, if I was going from the top to the bottom, then I'd say, you know, certain indicators or certain things like that would probably be useful. My recommendation would be to wait for bars close and stock market orders. And many of your trades are quite impulsive. I absolutely agree with you. Sometimes I can have the patience of a saint, and other times I can jump in. I did the other day. I jumped in. I got out of it for a tick in the end, but sometimes, whether it's to lack of patience or just lack of experience, as I say, I've only been trading really, 4 years this Christmas time, this sort of December time. But in this business, it's not a lot of time. But yeah, some trades, I think sometimes these impulsive ones are probably maybe not the best trades to take, rather than the more obvious ones. But sometimes when you're scalping like this, things do move quick, or you may not notice it, and you may think, oh yeah, I've seen that. And then sometimes that can lead you to jump a little bit. Yeah, I got no issues with criticism. I think for the first year and a half, I put my chart on the Facebook group every day and asked for feedback. I think it's the only way you learn, really. If someone can tell me what I'm doing wrong, or wow, my chart wasn't looking right, it helped me grow. And I did that for about a year and a half, I think. You understand charts well, I think, but only mistake you have done recently is to move your stop. Yeah, don't I know it? Your chart read understanding is good. Yeah, I think my chart reading is okay. I think mainly because I see it based on Max, and it's always pretty similar, and people like Thomas Wade and Marco. So yeah, I'm quite confident my chart reading's okay now. But yeah, there's certainly a certain amount of impulsiveness to my trading, whether that's me in general, or whether that's just down to just lack of experience, and that'll improve with time. I did mention that Friday that I was going to take off the ability to buy and sell market with the click of a button. I haven't done, actually. It's just reminding myself. I know, because I study every one of your losses to help my own. Do you really? That's interesting. So many of them work out. You got stopped out due to late entry, I think. Many of them worked. You got stopped out due to a late entry. Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't mind any of these comments. It gets me thinking. Late entry. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you meant. Yeah. I think, see, I'm quite a, what's the word? I am quite sort of hyper. You can tell that sometimes. You know, I talk quite a bit sometimes, and but yeah, I have got that type of nature to a degree. So I've had to try and slow things down. I think with time and experience, and just, I mean, 3.5 years on the charts really isn't a long time in this business. You know, any business where you can make considerable amounts of money is never going to be easy. And as we know, we are kind of competing against experienced traders here. So, I'm quite okay with the fact that a lot of it's down to, maturity as a trader. And the longer you've been doing this, the more it'll become just a normal job at some point. And a lot of that sort of fear, nervousness, and, just that sort of little bit of excitement or anxiety, I think, will eventually start to fade away. And I think that's the problem with traders. I think a lot of traders don't give this long enough. I didn't. I never imagined it was as hard as it was. It looks easy, and it's very easy to go, that looks like a trade, let's take it, and it wins. But to be able to do something like that consistency when the market is, as Mac will describe it, has multiple personalities, it's completely different. Anybody can, jump on a chart, a complete beginner, and click buy, and it can make 2 points. You can shut your eyes here and do that. But this is interesting. Channel down, 2 attempts to go high. If we can get a lower high below there, 2 legs up. But yeah, I think experience is a lot to do with it. The longer you sat here, I know what a good setup is, but sometimes I think I don't wait long enough for a good setup. And if I probably did wait for perfect setups, I'd probably have a lot more success. In fact, I've probably just given myself the answer to the question. It takes time, just like anything else. People don't. No, they don't. We all know how much money people can make at this. If you've got 20 accounts, when you do 2 trades a week for 3 points, and you're patient enough and you're skilled enough, that's over $2,000. That's $40,000 per month. $40,000 per month, I don't care what anyone says, is serious money. That's nearly $500,000 a year, and if you can earn that, you can eventually start to build your own account and increase it. So that is serious money. Not many people earn that sort of money. Some people go to university for 7 years and don't earn anywhere near that. I know, sort of like GPs in the UK, I think they're on about 60 grand a year, something like that. It's even absolutely 10 grand a month. It's over 100,000 a year. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And that's for me sitting in front of a computer for 2.5 hours a day. some people, skilled doctors are working 14 hours a day and not earning that. Certainly in the UK, I think the average GP is on about 60 grand in the UK. Obviously, there's overtime and other bits and pieces, but you've got to work a lot of hours. I think they do something like 7 years of training for that. And they're constantly getting better, junior doctors and then sort of more senior doctors. And, sometimes 10, 15, 20 years to get to some of these professional levels. So anywhere where you can earn a lot of money, it's never going to be easy. Otherwise, everyone will be doing it. But I believe it, and that's why I wanted to show you that video, because the guy said, people think it's easy. It is very hard. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. But there is a big failure rate, and I think the way he described it is the chance of you being successful jumps up dramatically if you're prepared to just keep working at it. But you get a degree and start to work in trade, it's not guaranteed. No, exactly. Absolutely. No, absolutely. Did you watch the video by Zero AJ yesterday? He spent 35 grand on Apex tuition over the last year. Not only has just started becoming more profitable. 15,000 worth of products. Yeah, I don't doubt it for a second. I've had over 600 evaluations. I know someone who's had over 1,200 evaluations. I know Nutty, because I remember I was having a chat on Nutty's stream. He's a nice lad, Nutty. I was having a chat on his stream maybe, a month or two ago. And I said I was just coming up to I just hit the 600 level. And he went, I'm way past you. And then loads of people came out saying, I thought I was bad at 800. Someone had done over 1,200. Most people are forced out by trading, business by going broke. Yeah, I would definitely say if you're new to trading and you're on this stream now, never put your own money in. Certainly not till you're a tried and tested trader. Start on a sim. In fact, if I could tell myself now, I would say spend at least a year on a sim. Spend 12 months on a sim and then slowly move on to an evaluation one at a time. Because obviously you need to have that exposure to the emotions. You'll never get it on a sim. That's the only downside, really. The only way to get exposure on these emotions is to have some sort of skin in the game. And by far the cheapest way to do it is evaluations. Get yourself one, $30, $35, and just stick to the one a month and just practice on it. But I just went silly. I did. Just throwing money at it to try and get lucky. I tend to not do it now. It's so easy to just throw money away, and I don't know how many times I did it, and I'd feel sick after, and I'd ask myself the question, what are you doing? And I couldn't give myself a definitive answer. I'm just watching the market today, a bit tired and not in a right frame of mind. And I think it's also a good idea to recognise that as well, because sometimes trading, I don't know if you remember guys telling me that we had a bit of a family argument with a family member 6 weeks ago, something like that. And I was really angry about it because this person got a bit funny with my wife and daughter. Not nasty funny, but said some things which were a bit unnecessary. And it played on my mind, and I was really annoyed. And I lost some accounts. It was a disastrous day. So it is important to identify how you feel. And that's why I mentioned about that self-assessment, just to quickly assess yourself. How do I feel? And I tell you what, it's perfectly fine to go away without a trade. Much better than to go away with 2 losses, because it's going to take you 2 trades at least just to get back to where you were. So never feel like I must stay here because this is work or whatever. Never. This is one of those jobs where if you're not right, you've got to take a bit of time off, whether it's a few hours or a day or whatever, and go and do something to clear your mind. Because it can cripple you into being in a bad mood. Sim always got a thing. Let me look at that. Gets access. Yes, that's what I like. That's what I like about that. See, when I first downloaded Ninja Trade. It was about 3.5 years ago, and I paid £1,000 for it. It was, I think, about £245, something like that, per month for 4 months. Because I just naturally assumed as a beginner I'll be trading my own account. Because you can only have this ATM strategy to my right. This thing here, you can set up, I've got it set up automatically. You can only use that for the first 2 weeks of downloading Ninja Trader. You have to pay for it otherwise. And there's either like a monthly fee or you can pay extra commissions. But if you're not trading your own account, it's kind of a bit of a waste to a degree. But the beauty of only paying, say, $30 or $35 a month with Apex is you do get used to full package. And it gives you that little bit of experience of trading. But what I'd never do as a beginner, personally now, if I could tell myself, never try and gamble just to get to a PA, because if you're new to evaluations, you're going to blow a stack of them. So all it means is you're going to take a gamble or a risk to get a PA, you're going to pay for the PA and you're going to lose it. And you will lose it. You have to have experience of having some kind of risk, because it makes you operate differently than it does. I remember when Wilson started trading before me, and I remember Wilson was one of the person I used to watch and think, oh man, I wish I could trade like him. He absolutely killed it. Day in, day out. He was trading something like 35, 40 accounts and making thousands. And people were going, oh, he makes a fortune, this guy. And someone said, oh, I think it's fake, it's blah, blah, blah. And one guy said, no, he made $1 million last year. And he never said it was live, and he never said it was, a sim account. But it turns out after a while, he started to do evaluations, and it was a sim. And then he went from absolutely killing it to struggling like hell. So it just goes to show you, when you move on to some sort of, system where you've got money to lose, you trade very differently, and you need to get used to that. Never mess with wives, daughters, sisters, mothers, and girlfriends. Yeah, absolutely. But it just goes to show you, if something's not right in your life, if you're stressed or you're snappy or impatient, trading has a way of bringing that out. I try my best sometimes to switch off. That's why I talk kind of to myself or to you guys, because when I'm talking and looking at the chart, I'm kind of forgetting what else is going on in my life. But I do find sometimes I feel itching or eager to take a trade. And I think if you're aware of it, you've got a good chance maybe of saying, okay, I'm feeling like that, let's just take a break, or kind of make a sort of a mental decision. I'm aware of it. Let's just keep that in mind, because if you make a mistake, it can cost you $300-400 on all your accounts. And if you're doing that because you're a little bit impatient, that just tends to exacerbate the system, and we all know where that goes. So I think sometimes take a day off, go out and have some beers with your mates. I don't know, go fishing. I tend to do something, but just get away from work. When we all start trading, we all just spend so much time, sat in front of these charts day in, day out, and you do get mentally fatigued. And you have to take time off. I really haven't very much, to be honest with it. Even when I've said I'm taking a week off, I'm back after a day. But I think it's important to take a break, because you need to clear your head. You can be trading frustrated so many times because of, this, that, and the other. Jump onto a sim, leave $8+ for a funded account. Yeah, sim is the way to learn how to do this. But at some point you do have to experience, because ultimately you're doing this to make money. So at some point you are going to have some risk. But the best way to do that is just with an evaluation. So I would say, if someone said to me, how do you think I should start? I would say spend a year, 12 months. They probably won't. I didn't myself. Spend a year on a sim and get to understand, and try and trade it a few hours a day. And then after that, when you feel like you're understanding a little bit what's going on, then just get one evaluation and just trade it on its own, nice and steady. Don't take stupid risks. Don't try and aim to get a PA. Forget a PA. And then spend 6 months. Sorry about the barking. And then just spend time that next level before you start thinking about PAs. But I know a lot of people. I did it myself. I tried to get a PA, and as soon as I got a PA, within a matter of hours, I blew it, and then I blew a ton more. Sorry if I'm waffling a bit today. What a horrible day so far. But yeah, this business is hard. It's doable. And it's not the trading that's the hard bit. It's controlling those emotions when things don't go your way. Ultimately, that's it. And the only way to get around that is just to expose yourself to it again and again and again. And eventually it'll start to fade. And it won't get so scary. Those emotions won't be there as much and as strong. Excuse me just a sec. Sorry about that. Okay, so nothing you can do here really. What could do again, the loo. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick bathroom break. I'll be back a quick minute. Yeah, I mean, you could just pay $30 or whatever it is, $34 a month, and just have a continuous evaluation, and it saves you having to pay the license fee. So it is useful. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. You get the experience of an evaluation, and you get to use NinjaTrader for free. Yeah, it's also hard because a sim can feel like a waste of time. Yeah, I got to say, when I first started trading evaluations, I remember my neck feeling like it was in a vice. I used to get that stressed. But yeah, it does. Yeah, the trouble is with sims, you can just go, oh, I'll try this, I'll try that. And so it is hard sometimes to take sims serious, but you kind of really have to work to. And like Mac will say, you've got to take every trade that you believe it, but it kind of is useless in a way. Well, let me just re-describe that. It kind of feels like it's useless in a way, but it's really how you learn. And it's very hard to understand that. Trading is, a lot. You'll get a lot of intuition and gut feeling, and you'll say, "Well, I've seen this picture before. I don't like this. This is doing this," or, this often happens, and eventually, you'll learn to stay out of a lot of bad trades. I don't get caught in bad trades, nowhere near as much as I used to. I can identify them a lot more now. So there'll be some short stops there and there, I'm guessing. It's very tempting to go long here. Because if it can break above there, it lets some stops. I would not have gone short there. That's that far from the top. So I would expect that level to get broken. The only problem I have with that is we got a leg down. It could trigger it and make another leg down to here. So it's just too far from that EMA. 300%. Personally, just like doing. Yeah, you do. You do stupid things on sims. Absolutely. I'll try here. I'll have a go here. Oh, let's have a go here. Yeah, it's very hard not to do that. A certain amount of it, I think, is okay because you still learn. It never worked, but yeah, it is very hard to take sims serious. I absolutely agree with you. And I think the more you hear that, the more seriously you eventually start to take them. But yeah, you have to. And I think that's how you can speed up your process of learning, by really working hard and trying to make them, because that's learning your craft, that is, on sims. That's what they're there for, really, so you can learn without getting slaughtered financially, because you will do. I thought I knew it all, and I'm going to make a ton of money, and I just ended up losing a stack of it. It does look very easy, and it's very easy to jump on the charts and win a few trades in a row, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, well, I'm going to make a fortune here. And as I've told you guys before, I jacked my job in after about a month. I turned up to work on a Friday. Well, I went to work on a Friday, stopped for a coffee at the garage, and decided to phone my boss up and tell him to shove it. I came home, stuck £3,000 in my account, lost it within about 2-3 weeks. But I was taking a few trades in the evenings after work, and they were working. I was thinking, this is easy. I felt really excited, but I also had this little voice in the back of my head saying, it can't be this easy. And I think the first trade I took, I lost, and I had this horrible sinking, gut-wrenching feeling, thinking, what have I done? I use an A+, so fun it is now. I intend to approach it. Yeah, you have to. It's the only way to do it, really. You will do it eventually, but it'll take you a bit longer if you are just messing around. But there's a certain amount of messing around. You still learn stuff. I think ultimately, if you're sitting down here, but when you do lose trades, you get more value from it. And the way I describe it is, if I'm taking setups and I get trapped, if I've got money invested in this, or a PA or whatever invested in it, you tend to really remember that picture, because it caught you out and cost you. And when you've been in that scenario a few times before, when you get into it again, you'll get that. It's almost like that little memory that, you've been to a place before, that we've all drove through a place, and I think, I recognise this. You may have drove through it once 5 years ago, but you get that mental picture of, oh, I don't like this, I've been caught in this before, and you leave it and it triggers you and stops you out, or would have done. And it's a nice feeling when you start to get that. You start to avoid trades, and you made the right decision. But you do build up these sort of mental images in your head. of areas that don't look right and where you've been caught out before. That's a perfect example of it. There we got a channel down there and a break, big bearish bar. A lot of people may have jumped in there. Now, the one good thing is it never triggered, but, you know, we're told by Mac when we get a break, we'll make a new extreme. So we get a nice channel like that with a break, big bearish bar. Straight away, a lot of traders going to be buying that, selling that, sorry. The fact that it never triggered may have kept some out, but you're thinking, there we go, we're going to make a new low here, and all of a sudden, turns and moves. So you will get used to having a gut feeling about these, or I don't like this, something doesn't feel right. And the simple answer is, if it doesn't feel right, leave it. Much better. The pain of trying. Absolutely. When you've got money invested these, and it hurts you to lose these trades, you really remember that picture way more than you do when you win a trade. And I think you get better. I think most of your money is made from staying out of bad trades. But, you know, we can all find a really good, obvious one, but those ones that aren't so obvious, you know, I mean, I'd have never taken that in a million years, purely and simply because we've bounced off here. It doesn't matter that we haven't had a break of a channel. If we've bounced enough times left, I have a sheet of paper next to my desk, which I got laminated, and it says, taking a trade, look left. Then how many times I've seen a bunch of support here and gone short here, and it's triggered me, bounced again and pushed up. Well, I don't do it so much anymore. I always look left to see where I'm shorting into, and vice versa for, you know, for the longs. And the more this happens, the better you get at it, and that's the only way to do it is experience. Just hours and hours and hours on the charts. I don't, you know, I used to do 8 hours at one point, or I'd come home for work and do 4 hours of an evening. Then sometimes I'd go through the chart from, you know, earlier in the day, and just used to click the arrow key like that and make it go over one bar at a time. But I tend to do about 2.5 hours now. But I will look at my chart after, figure out where I went wrong, what I was looking at. I'll have a look at other traders, find out what they had. Was it the same as mine? I always check out Max. I always look at Marco's chart. I always look at Thomas Wade's chart and find out what they saw. Did they see something I missed? And then that I kind of end it for the day. So, but trading is at the forefront of my memory, which is strange really when you've got a family and kids, but it's kind of just the way it is. Because it's such an emotional business and you're trying so hard to succeed, it does take over the forefront of your mind. And it can really control things sometimes. It's definitely, I've gone through times where it's changed my mood. I've been a lot more grumpy and a lot more snappy. My wife will tell you that. But this does, and it can do, affect your mood. Because you're trying so hard, and you feel like you're getting kicked in the face, and not only are you getting kicked in the face, you're getting your money taken as well. So let's have a look here. So we've got a channel with a break, 1, 2 pushes up to a new high, bearish bar. Now 1, 2, 3. Now this is a trade that sometimes I may take. Break. I always like 2 pushes up. We've broken above all this. That is intact, but we've broken above all this and cleared out any possible stops, and this is a bearish bar. Now this is where I wonder, will Bookmap or Profile, whatever it is, help me not to get into a trade here? We bounced 3 times here. So this is a trade I may have a go at. We've had a break. I always like 2 pushes up. I like to know that we're trapping along as well. Now, obviously, if the bar finishes bearish, but I think really I tend to wait for a lower high nowadays because I'm not as good at these as some of you may be. I don't have a lot of success, although we go once, twice, 3, 4, whatever. I don't think it's going to finish bearish anyway, but I do like the fact that we had a break and we have had 2 pushes up. I always like to make sure we trap along if we can. The only other issue I have is Thomas Wade still has that as a channel. So if it is a channel, which it probably could be, we may see this area. So it may trap you short and push up. So for me at least, I think it's best off for me stay out of that. I don't think it's going to finish bearish enough anyway. But I do like the break and 2 pushes up. I like the fact that we've broken above every bar here, apart from that one there. Never finish bearish anyway. If we can push below that EMA and get maybe a failure, second entry long which triggers, I wouldn't mind having a go at that, because at the moment, up, down, up, down, up, we are kind of ranging, but I still have it in my mind that if it is a channel, which it certainly could be, we may get up to these highs, so we might not have gone as high as we might. I don't think fading ranges is not a good part of Pat's strategy right now. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Mac does do them and marks them. Mind you, it's easier to mark them after the fact, isn't it? But yeah, especially as we're also kind of going up, so it is very easy to get stung there. Fortunately, it never triggered. Well, it hasn't triggered yet. It may do now. Well, no, it was a doji anyway, so it was a no-go. So for me, really, you'd have to push through that EMA, couple of legs up like that, and then have the look of a channel coming down. So I'd expect to push down there, 3 bars maybe, and then a second entry short here, trapping some longs and hopefully having another leg down. So I'm going to put that there just out of interest, just to see if I like to see if my thought process is right. But I'm quite happy that I've had the patience today to not jump in. I did look at that. It would have worked, but if we're in this channel, we're kind of already at the top of the channel already. And it could trigger you, touch this and come down, so I left that. But, you know, some days I've got the patience of a saint, and I'm quite happy to go away without a trade. Doesn't bother me if there's no setup. As far as I'm concerned, I'll give myself a pat on the back because I've done my job, and my job was to find a setup and stay away from ones that, you know, stay away from the mess, and I have done. So I've got I used to hate walking away without a trade, but I actually get a good feeling if I've managed to leave it. Need to wait for NQ to reach the overnight. Yeah. They're pretty close, these aren't they? Sometimes they're almost identical, other times they're quite different, but I went through a phase of having this chart as an anchor chart. So if I was taking a long gear, I'd have a quick glance onto here and see if this was looking bullish as well, because they do kind of work side by side. So, I mean, we could still turn bearish here. We've got 1, 2, 3 pushes up. And it could come down a bit, but I don't know. Who knows? But we have had a break, 2 pushes. I always like to have 2 pushes after a break, especially pushes that look as nice and as clean as that, leg and leg. I want 3 bars down here like this, and then a second entry short. So that's encouraging. Well, 2 bars will do. That's a large one. I'd like 2 little pushes up now, or a second entry short. Trapping some longs, thinking this is going up, which it could do. I mean, look, touch. There is a possibility that this could go up. I don't think it fits bad. A leg and a leg. It certainly could do. So I'd like to, maybe not now. Actually, that actually might fit better. With the tops, I'm thinking, yeah. Who knows? It's certainly possible. So I need to keep that in mind. So there's my possible channel. So this is kind of a triple test on the NQ 1, 2, 3 and a big bearish bar. So we certainly could come down to this kind of level, couldn't we? Penguin trades, what's he done? Yeah, Penguin's got this. Actually, Penguin's a smart trader. He's got this as a, well, he's also got a sideways one, but he's also got this as well. And a Penguin's a smart cookie, in my opinion. Two legs back. We've already had two legs back. So we could push up again. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. So anyway, we've had if it is a channel, we've had a break and a bunch of bunch of pushes up. We've broken that, but not this. And we've had what looks like close to a measured leg down. I'm not sure about that. Let's put that. What I will say is we are coming from the bottom to the top, to the bottom to the top, to the bottom to the top. Makes sense that we come down here. I think there's certainly a good chance. So if we can get a good second entry short, what I like about it is we're bouncing off. I mean, I get what he's thinking about the channel, but at the moment, this is just typical range stuff. That short there did work, although it was a doji. And we've had a good strong push below that EMA. There's going to be some people taking profit there, which could get us back to this area here. So if we can get a second entry short, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. I like the fact that that channel's played out beautifully. We've had a break, two clear, obvious legs to a new high, and then a strong drop below the EMA. So second entry short here, I would take if it looked right. Yes, if there's any longs in there that would have been there, stops are gone and there as well. So the next bit of liquidity really on my chart anyway is down here, there and possibly there. So I think if we get a second entry short, which I hope we do, I'd take that for another leg down, and I think that will be okay. So if we can get up to this level here, where does that second leg get us? Right down here. We kind of had a leg down, didn't we, with a break? 2 legs, whatever you want to look at it. Same here. We didn't really get much of a break here. Tell a lie. We did actually, but then it just turned. So sometimes if it's destined to come down here, a lot of times you won't even get a pullback. It'll just drop. But I'm kind of hoping we do. 10,000 tick charts looking interesting. Up, down, up, down, up. Where's this going? You'd like to think down here, wouldn't you? So, come on, give us a push up. Give us a second entry short. I'm going to get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Also, you could even call that, if it does work, fail breakout of the range. Come on, get up there. We've triggered that bar there, the bullish bar. Still too far from the EMA, although it may work. I'm still not taking it. Come on. It's triggered that little bull bar there. So it may just push down. That bar hasn't triggered. Come on, get up here. Come on up to the EMA, then push above it with another bar. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Channel down. Gotta be careful here. Okay, we're at the EMA. That's interesting. That's tempting. Could get stuck here. I prefer that body a bit further up there. It's still stuck in there and it could push up and take that out. I think it'll probably work, but I think it's risky. I'm just sitting on this one at the minute. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. The way it's sat right in there, it could go out. It may work. If it gets below there, it's game over. It'll come down, I think, because there'll be stops there, and then probably there. I mean, you could take a risk and put it down there. Once it gets below these, I think it'll come down. But as I say, I think it'll work, but it could sting you. And if it does sting you, we're through there now. If you get through there, it'll come down more. If it does sting you, you'll regret taking it. So we haven't pushed through this one yet. We're bouncing on it. Okay, so once it gets below them two there, you certainly got 3 points or whatever it was, but it's just one of those ones you've got to be careful of. So I wouldn't have got 3 points yet. Next bit of liquidity is down here, so let's just ditch that.
Order cancelled.
It's just one of those things. I'm glad it pushed up and then dropped. Yeah, there is one or two in the trade, but it is a bit congested. If you want really good setups, you got to leave that really a little bit, because it can sting you. There is a bit of support around that middle, so I look right around there. You can see it here. You got sitting on there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a bunch of support there that it could bounce on. But you know, I did say that if we can get below these, I think there's a good chance then we come down. Because at the moment we're ranging, that looks like a leg with a bit of sideways. The fact that it has broken below there, I think there's a good chance we come down. There'll be some liquidity down below here, so it makes sense to push down below there. You know, who knows? Obviously, you know, if you got buyers down here, 2 legs back, then we want to protect that area. So who knows how far it'll get down, but a bit of breakout pullback. So you definitely got 3 points out of it. Well, you definitely did now. So again, a lag. It did look like it was going to do that, but when it goes like that, it just does add to the drama. It can go wrong. But look at that now. Once we're below this, it was going to hit the bottom for me. It took, yes. It's just one of those things. A lot of people took it. Well, 1, 2, 3 or 4 people took it. But the simple answer is, yeah, it is a setup. Is it a great setup? It's not a terrible setup, but it is clearly congested. And if you took it, it triggered you and stopped you out. You'd have a lot of people saying, well, it was a bit congested. And it was. So just because it worked didn't necessarily mean it's a trade you should take. But it's just unfortunate that's how it works sometimes. But they don't bother me. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. It used to. I used to hate it. Sometimes if I saw it moving and everyone was taking it, I'd jump in down here. But it's congested. Like you say, it's made up of doji. It can go against you. one thing I'll say is going for it is we're clearly going up down in a range at the moment, but they can fail them. Consider higher low at support. Higher low at support. It's too late for that, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, Taylor didn't take it. Thomas Wade didn't take it. I don't think it was a terrible trade, but it can go wrong, that can. Certainly a higher risk trade, but we had a leg down there, sideways. But yeah, they can go wrong them. And if you take it, if you say to yourself, oh, it's a bit congested here, it's a bit risky, and you take it and it goes wrong, you'll kick yourself. And that's how I used to blow a lot of my accounts, by taking trades that part of me said I should be leaving them alone. Better on the NQ. I don't know. There wasn't so much of a setup on the NQ, though. Not from a Pat's point of view. I mean, it was clear. You could see what was going on, but the fact that it is sideways can change the dynamics of it, and it can go wrong. The fact that it didn't, it is kind of irrelevant, really. I think, Thomas Wade didn't take it. I didn't take it. A few of you guys didn't take it. Taylor didn't take it. So, you have to be aware that it is congested. Now, if you want to, if you you don't mind taking a risk and you play the game, play the numbers, then you can take those all day long. Probably going to work. There's a good chance it's going to work, but the chance of it working is a lot less. See, although it is ranging, you can still trade stuff like that. The range is still quite a bit a distance from the top to the bottom. There's still 18 points from the top to the bottom. So you can, if it is right, a lot of the times with these things, I mean, that came down in one leg, but a lot of the times they'll come down in bits. Especially if it's this large. So I wouldn't, if the setting was right, I wouldn't have an issue with taking that. But I mean, in an ideal world, taking them from here. But the trouble is, with the bigger the range, half the time we want it to push below the EMA before we take a trade. And by the time that's happened, we're already well into the, that push through, came back and that's the trouble, really. See, it pushed through, came back, touched the EMA, which it often does, push down, traders taking profits, touch the EMA, then down again. So it's kind of doing what it should, and it's a big enough range for you to be able to take them. I don't have a problem. Down to the overnight lows now, yeah. I mean, it's clearly mainly a range day with the exception of that initial sort of push up, down, and then back up. But this is definitely rangy, isn't it? But it's messy. A lot of the time we spent it right in the middle, and this stuff you can't do nothing with, really. So what I will say is that we've had a channel there with an overshoot, and it often does this with an overshoot, pushes straight back up, pushes down, makes a new low, and pushes up. I wouldn't be surprised now if we came up. Because I think we've come down enough to consider that a touch on the bottom. We've touched there, pushed up. We didn't even get down there, so I think we can get rid of that. So I don't think that was a terrible trade after the overshoot and the new low. I tend to want to wait for the higher low, loads of space of that EMA. So a higher low here, I wouldn't mind taking that. But even if you took that one, which I wouldn't, still plenty of space for that EMA. Yeah, if I was on an evaluation, I'd have taken that. It's not a bad trade to take. It's going to win more times than not. So if you can play the numbers and just say that doesn't look like a bad trade, let's go for it. It's probably going to work 70% of the time. But if it affects you taking the losses, then you need to stay away from them, really. So push up. It'd be nice to trap that and then push up. I'll tell you, someone who plays the losses, the numbers well is Bart. he can take a loss and then just carry on as normal, kind of like it hasn't happened. So I'd like to see that bearish bar stop date. So yeah, see, I wouldn't be thinking about going short there. If I took that short, I'd be worried about getting stopped out. There is support around here, so it could bounce. Trouble is, even though we're sort of all doing the same thing, there's still a lot of varied decision making here. Some people, we go for sort of high probability trades. Now, high probability trade might be something that works 90% of the time, which they do. Some people may think 80-70% they'll go for. So we've all got different levels of risk where we're comfortable. Would you take that all day long? Some will. And if you're going for a decent move, you could do 5 points plus out of that easily. So that kind of pays for a couple of losses in a way. So if you're playing the numbers, ones that look pretty good, you'll make money. But I tend to, we've all got that different area where we decide, okay, that's enough risk, I'll take that. Or that's too much risk, I'll leave it alone. But, I have heard a million times when it's congested like that, it can, pop around in different ways. So it could trigger you, come down a little bit more and then push up. So, everyone's got to make their individual decision based on how they feel about the trade. And I know it's been an hard day today. Sometimes the longer I sit here, the more I have to be careful. Because although we're not doing anything physical, you can still get mentally tired, and that can mess around with your thought process as well. So possible second entry short. I'm still worried about going short here because we've broken below this and pushed straight back in. And we've come down to this level. So it could push up, trigger your bounce below, trigger that lower high, and then have a second entry long that goes up. And it may also then come up to this line, and you may get a triple test. It may come down. So this is a bit iffy around here. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade's got that wider. Maybe. If he's got that wider, then he'd be thinking about a short here, but I think that's risky personally. Because we've come below all this. If this is a range, this could be a breakout that fails. Do you know some people who got weird emails from Apex? Not allowed to buy more. Somebody mentioned it earlier, mate. I can't remember who it is, but I've never... What I will say is take what you hear with a pinch of salt until you hear it from the horse's mouth. Because someone sent... I won't say who it is, but it doesn't matter anyway. Someone sent me a picture the other day to say... they got this off someone's website that says people have been declined a payment from Apex because the trading was, what was it? I think they'd gone from one contract to two contracts and from one contract, and it turns out it was a fake. And I know because I spoke to someone. I spoke to a guy I know, and he said, yeah, he's seen it before. It's been making circles, and he sent me a real one, and they were completely different. So, you know, there are other companies out there, and there is a load of shit that goes around about each company. I dare say they're all fighting for each other's business, and you know, they can get into a sort of a slagging match, really, can't they? One of these type of what's it wars, but that would be strange. I'd say a big part of their revenue comes from failed evaluations. So saying people can't take evaluations, that'd be like throwing away your bread and butter. It would make sense to me, that. There is a possible second entry short here, triple test. You've got to be so careful here, though, because we've already bounced off what could be the bottom. So it could trigger you and stop you out. So, risky, this is. Risky. Because Thomas Wade's got that. Oh, no, he's got it as a... Oh, no, tell a lie. Oh, he's put it back. He took the overshoot off there because it's had an overshoot, so it could go up. I don't think it's going to finish bearish anyway, but if that finishes bearish and triggers, it could push up and stop you out. It hasn't triggered, I don't think, but I think that's risky. Now, if that's a channel, it might not be risky, but I think, you know, sometimes you'd be better off closing your eyes and going short here. No one's trying to stop you out here, but this is the area where the traps are and where people are, because this is generally the area where people go, where people trade. If you just waited for this thing to start pushing down, you probably have more luck going short here because there's no traps. No one's really trapping you. You've never been denied? No, I've never been denied. That would be strange if someone said they couldn't have an evaluation. That kind of doesn't make sense. I'm not saying it's a lie, but it don't really make much sense. I've not had anything. Anybody had an email? That's strange, that is. No, I've had nothing. Maybe some stops there. I know a lot of gamblers out there just asking maybe some. This email too. Yeah, you don't know a lot. It's hard to know, really, isn't it? I wouldn't be worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I'll be surprised if people are sending out emails saying no. Trust me, it's the gamblers and the people that throw money away where they make most of their money. I tell you that now. They make a ton of money from people blowing accounts. That's their bread and butter. Still possible. Second entry short. Second entry short stroke triple test. It's kind of a little double top. Sam and Taylor got paid a year. I've not heard nothing. There will be loads of stories going around because people want to, you know, where it's like anything. These companies, they're all fighting for our business. There's going to be a bit of shit stirring. I think it goes without saying. Very tempting, this is. Yeah, it's just struggling to push down, and it's not quite as bearish as I'd like. It's not even triggered yet for me. It's not even, I mean, I like the fact that it's sitting under there, but it's just not bearish enough for me. Not me. A failure back to the range. Maybe a failure here. It may trigger that. It's when it's very slow like this, I find it's a bit dangerous. I think the lower high will be. Oh, someone's just measured that. Lower high is a better option. It has triggered now, but it's risky. It could just turn and push up. Lower high is a safer bet, I think. Kind of stops you getting trapped. Looks good on the NQ. Yeah, it doesn't look bad on the NQ. It doesn't look bad on my other chart, to be honest with you. It looks very similar to the NQ. It's just something about it I don't like. Partly because we've already broken below here, so it could be trapping shorts and then moving up. This is a breakout that's failed once, twice. The range mainly is working from here. It is from the bottom as well, but not only have we broken below this, we've bounced off the bottom strongly, so I just don't really want to go short. I prefer... I'm going... Let's trigger on his... I'm just not sure about this. It's just not... I think this is going to upset some people, I do. You can imagine how many stops are going to be on this line here. Look at that now, straight away. It's just got risk written all over that. It may work, but I'm sitting tight here. And there's going to be a lot of stops there. And now it's going sideways. It could push up above them. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. So I'm kind of glad I'm staying out of this. There is a few traders in it. Let me have a look. I managed to trigger on mine. Thomas Wade's in it, I know that. It may work. I kind of hope it does, because there is a few traders in it. Yeah, Thomas Wade's in it. Fact, which one did he take? Yeah, he took that. One there, did he? Let's have a look. Oh, he's taken that bullish bar, but he's got it on the limit order. I don't know. I hope it works. It's just not moving quick enough for my liking. If it gets down below there, I think it'll be okay, but it's a bit boxy. It could touch this and turn. Put it this way, there's going to be a lot of stops above there and there, I think. I'm glad I'm out of it now. It's going slow. Yeah. I mean, you have to say it has made 3 attempts to push higher, so that's going for it for a starters. I just don't... Even that then just says to me, oh, be careful here, Lancey boy. Looks like it's working. Yeah, you'd have got points off that anyway. Lower high would be a better option, I think. To be fair, that was the only one really, but if you took it, trigger just stopped you out. I wouldn't have taken that really. It wasn't quite bearish enough really, and it is starting to stack on that line. EMA's going flat. So it's just a little bit risky for me. Yeah, and range congestion, yeah, it's, you know, sometimes they'll still work. Same with that one, we had exactly the same thing there. If you'd have taken that, and it would have triggered and stopped you out, you wouldn't have taken that. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes it just works that way. That's why you have to make your own decision, really. Is it risky enough for me? You know, me mentioning earlier about playing the numbers. If you'd have played the numbers and you'd have taken both of those, you'd have been up. So if you can play the numbers and you don't mind losses, you know, take stuff like that. Possible second entry long there, but I'm just staying out at the moment. I went higher before it went higher before it broke the lows, so stop out. Yeah. Oh, that one did. I got you. Okay, so it went up there, came down, went across, and then did that after it. Pushed high first. Yeah, okay. See, what my experience is, the triple tests, if they're good enough, they usually work and work quick. And that couldn't make its mind up for a bit, could it? So fortunately, it made points before it turned. How much did it make? Let's put it below there. So it went down for 4 points. So, well, tick below 3 3/4 points. So plenty. Perhaps this is just trying to retest this after this, but for me, this bounced off the bottom. Bounce, push up, bounce, push up. Didn't quite get close to it. So there'll definitely be some stops above there. So where's this going now? Up here, quite likely. Oh, this could be a penguin style setup. We had a break. 1, 2 attempts to push lower, push up. So that could be a penguin style trade. Just sitting tight anyway. Excuse me. Gap kick in 6 o'clock. I can only trade between 2:30 and 6 o'clock. That way it stops me ever coming back in the evening. Not that I do so much now. I used to a lot. So 1 loss a day. If I take 1 loss, it won't let me trade till 2:30 the following day. And if you struggle to take losses, I think that's a really great piece of software. That way, the most you're going to lose in a day is 1 trade. Wow, look at that. So it's tried multiple times. In fact, you may even call that a triple test, I'd say. And then straight back down below there. Yeah, it's definitely choppy today. Even this, you'd expect triple test to come down, and it just messed around. So it's an hard day today. You can just glance at it, can't you? You can't trade any of that. Oh, excuse me. So trouble is, there's an overshoot there, break new low. Sometimes with these overshoots, it'll make a bigger correction. Other times I find it'll pull back, drop straight down, make a new low, and turn and push up. So it's kind of why I didn't like any of this. That bar I didn't like. I didn't think it was kind of good enough. I would prefer that to push above these two first. If it's going to, well, that one, if it pushes above there and then drops below and sits under there, then I would have had a go at that. Yeah, see, sometimes these look okay, sometimes they don't. I don't know whether it is or not, to be honest with you. No, I don't like it. So it's a really hard day to trade today. I think, yeah, there may have been a trade to something there. Depends how you look at that. But sometimes they just, I don't know. I didn't like it. It's a bit congested. It can get you into trouble, that. I've realised the value of getting these trays right or getting these setups right. And was that a really good setup? I don't think it was. It was a setup. I don't think it was a good setup, though, because such a lot of this day is choppy and mixed feelings. And it's very easy to get into that and it stop you out, clean all this out, and then go in that direction. And it does that all the time. But even now, this bar's formed here. EMA's flat, and you've got two little bars here, which I don't like. And then when you get that third one, it hasn't triggered yet. This, when you get the third one, that is clearly congested, and it can do different things. It could have triggered you, given you a failed second entry short, and pushed up for another leg. It can do it. You know, we got a leg up. It's kind of like a little bull flag, a leg up sideways and then up again. So it's not a good setup in my opinion. It is a setup, but it's not one of your better ones. Will it work? Sometimes it does. It did in that case. Same that one. That's a little bit risky. You have to be aware of that. It's clearly I've taken trays like that before. Excuse me. They trigger you and stop you out, and then come down here like a rocket. So you just got to try and pick the best you can, and that obviously for me is congested. And same, once you get that third bar there, well, you could even say 4, it's congested. There's no two ways about it. So are you the type of trader that trades in congestion? Sometimes I still do from time to time, but I think the sensible thing is if you rule out stuff like that, you're going to rule out a lot more losses, and that's going to grow your account. And it's going to stabilise your mind as well. But taking a trade that you know in your own mind is risky, you're the one that's got to live with it, and what it'll do to you. So I know Archer, he's a trader, he didn't take it. Sam did, I expected him to take it. Guy called Mike took it. Thomas Wade took it. Taylor didn't take it. 1, 2, 3, 4 others didn't. Waiting for a lower high. 5 didn't. Order cancel. Yeah, not a lot of people took it. Depends how you look at it. It might be slightly different on someone else's chart. That could be a little bit more bearish, but from what I saw, it's a bit, it still can't make his bloody mind up. Look at these wicks now and doges. Yeah, so Thomas took that. I'm surprised Thomas took that, actually. I'd expect him to. In fact, he pointed at that one there. So it pushed up. See, my understanding was if it goes up and breaks above it, you stay out of it. In other words, you consider it as not triggered. I don't know. But I'm surprised he took that. Sometimes he does. Oh, how long have I got left? Not long. 18 minutes. All right, yeah, 18 minutes. I've got no issues with finishing on no trades today. It's been an hard day. This just tells me my patience is work today, especially when I didn't take that one and that one. Sometimes I'd have jumped all over that one. And in all honesty, I think it made pretty good sense just to leave that. If that top of that bar was secondary, I consider it more as a failed breakout, but it wasn't. It actually closed at the bottom of the little range, that little bit of congested range, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't like what he's doing now. That ATR is starting to climb. It's getting very wicky. Trouble is, if you miss stuff like that and you miss stuff like that, you start to lose your patience and think, oh, I don't. There's trades, I've missed them, unless you jump in with one a little bit lame and get stuffed. So on that note, I'm going to knock it on the head for today, folks. Don't like what it's doing today. Makes sense. I'm getting tired now. How long I've been going for? 3.25 hours. It's easy to make a mistake here. Second entry short, could trigger and push up. It's hard to say, but it's not an easy day today, so I'm quite glad my patience stayed with me. It's a pretty horrible day today. Hard to read, really. You think after this, and then a couple of legs back, you're starting to work, and you're thinking new highs coming, and then all of a sudden it starts whipping back and forth. So let's have a look. There is a failure there, trapping some longs, but it's just too far from the EMA. It may work. It may be another one of those ones. Sometimes these trades just work all day long, but for me, that's too far from the EMA. If I took that trade, I'd expect to get triggered and stopped out. It's easy pickings, that. See, I think traders which will take that will be inexperienced traders, and there won't be a lot of money behind those stops, which will make them a lot easier just to pick off. What I will say, it is a failure, and it is probably trapping some longs, but it's just too far from that EMA for me, so irrelevant whether it works or not. There's something bigger there. Sometimes these trades will just work. There may be something larger there. It's possible this thing could absolutely rocket down for another leg. Certainly could come down here. Yeah, okay. So I'm done for the day. So best of luck if you're carrying on. So not a crappy day today, but I'm pleased I was patient and I did what I was supposed to do. Sit and wait for a good setup. In all honesty, I don't think I really saw what I would consider a good setup. There has been a few iffy ones, but sometimes they'll win, sometimes they'll lose. But if I take them, and I've already said to myself, oh, it's a bit risky this, they're the ones that tend to do me the most mental damage. Sounds a bit melodramatic, but they're the ones I always used to go on tilt on when I kind of knew in my own mind I should have really left it, and you're trying to squeeze it. I think if you think it's not right, best thing to do is stay away from it. You're going to hang around a lot longer, and you're going to keep your accounts a lot longer. So there you go. Best of luck if you're carrying on trading. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe, and I'll be back again tomorrow, Tuesday, and we'll do it all again. Bye for now.